Good morning, one and all. So last class we are discussing about the DC motors, armature reaction, commutation, applications of DC motor, and finally problems are related to the efficiency and losses. So today we are discussing about the testing of DC motors. Testing of DC motors. So in this, so first of all, why we are going for testing of a DC motor? So because of the performance of a DC motor is only calculated by testing of a DC machine. So in this, testing of a DC machine is to be broadly classified into different types. One is direct method. Second one is indirect method. Third one is regenerative method. So based on these three methods only we are testing of DC machines. So one is the indirect method. So in this, so we are always using the brake test. Second one is indirect method, without applying load on the machine. So but we can find out the efficiency of a DC machine, so by using Swinburne test. So third one is regenerative method. So in this method, so we are using regenerative or Hopkinson's test. So based on these three tests, so we can find out the efficiency of a DC motors. So first one is brake test or direct method. So in this, so first of all, we are considered as a supply brake test. So positive and negative. So which is to be directly connected to the supply voltage, whatever the voltage is to be given to the motor, so which is to be measured by a voltmeter, so which is equal to voltage. So corresponding input current is to measure by ammeter, which is always denoted by I0, so which is to be connected to the 3-point starter L, A, F. So L is the line, A is the armature, F is equal to field terminals. So line terminal is to be directly connected to L. Armature is to be connected to the armature. Another one is field. So we can control the field resistance or field current. So we are using field rheostat. So which is always placing in minimum position. So in this, so we are always measures the current flowing through the field current, which is equal to A1, which is to be denoted by ISH. So based on this circuit, so we can use brake test or direct method. The shaft of the motor is to be directly coupled to the shaft, so which is to be considered as a two springs, which is to be denoted by S1 and S2, or a hinged pulleys, which is to be connected to the hinged pulleys. Radius of the pulley is equal to R. So in this circuit, so first one is brake test. So we can applying the brakes on the shaft of a motor. So we can find out the efficiency of a motor. So first of all, what is the operation of a DC motor by using brake test? So first of all, so input supply or input voltage is to be directly given to the motor. So corresponding by varying of field rheostat, so when we are getting the rated speed, so after reaching the rated speed of a motor, so which is to be directly coupled to the shaft or pulley, so which is to be air circulated pulley. So the outer surface of the pulley is to be directly connected to the two spring balances. So these two are the spring balances. spring balances is to be denoted by S1 and S2. S1 and S2. So in this, so all of you know, efficiency of a motor is always is equal to output divided by input. Output divided by input. So based on these two parameters only we can find out the efficiency. The output of a motor is only calculated by using the operation of a motor. So that means the loaded is always applied on the motor with the help of pulley arrangement. So after reaching the rated speed of a armature, so which is the shaft of the armature is to be directly connected to the pulley. So S1 and S2 are the two spring balances, so which is always measured, or suspension weight of the motor is to be calculated in terms of kg weights. So in this, all of you know, torque of a motor is equal to T is equal to force into radius. So which is equal to F into R. So another one is, so power output is equal to power output of a motor is equal to torque into angular speed or angular velocity. So which is to be denoted by T into omega. So torque is equal to F into R multiplied with omega. So first of all we can find out the force developed in a motor. Force developed in a motor is to be calculated. That means, so in this, two spring balance is to be connected to the pulley. So that's why two forces is to be generated. So one force is to be developed by S1, another force is to be developed by S2. So that's why F1 is equal to S1 is to be multiplied with acceleration due to gravity. So which is equal to 9.81. So another force is also experienced by the spring balance. So which is equal to F2 is equal to S2 is to multiplied with 9.81. So these two spring balances are always in opposite directions. So resultant force is equal to W1. For example, the weight of the spring balance is to be denoted by W1 and W2, or S1 and S2. So in this, S1 difference S2. So that means when we are based on our convenience, we can use the spring balance 1. When your load is to be applied on the motor by using S1, S2 is in rest position. Otherwise, so based on our convenience, S2 or spring balance is to be used to applied on the load on the motor. S1 is constant. So that's why S1 difference S2 is to be multiplied with 9.81. So this is the value of force into R. Into F into R is equal to torque is to multiplied with omega. So omega is equal to 2 pi into n by 60. 2 pi n by 60 multiplied with 9.81 multiplied with S1 difference S2 into R. So this is the power output equation. Power output of a DC motor is equal to omega into 9.81 into S1 difference S2 into R value. So this is the power output of a DC motor. So second one is input. So input, whatever the voltage and current is to be directly given to the motor is to be calculated by using voltmeter as well as ammeter. So which is equal to input power is equal to power input is equal to V into I naught. So V is the no load or no load current, or when we are considered as a underloaded condition, current drawn from the supply is I. So which is equal to I value, V into I. So when we are find out the efficiency of a motor, net I is equal to output divided by input is equal to, so omega multiplied with 9.81 into S1 difference S2 into R divided by V into I. I. So based on these expressions, we can find out the efficiency of a DC motor. So by using direct loading method, So that's why which is called as a direct method. So load is to be directly applied on the motor, then only we can find out the efficiency of a motor. So that's why which is called as a direct method or direct loading or direct method. So which is to be used for the brake test. So based on these equations, so we can find out the efficiency of a motor. So but in practical condition, direct method is not applicable for the all type of motors. So because of this type of testing is only applicable for small rating of machines. So because of the load or full load condition of a motor is to be applicable in practical condition very small. But in case of a large rating of machines, so we can't be applied on direct loading method. So that's why brake test is always applicable for low rating of machines or small rating of machines. So another one is under total losses is not calculated by the motor. So because of omega into 9.81 into S1 difference, S2 into R divided by V into Y. So based on this equation, so we can easily find out the efficiency of a motor. So but in practical condition, the armature is always existing as a two types of losses. So one is the core losses, second one is the copper losses. So under full load condition, when we are getting the no load losses, under full load condition when we are getting full load copper losses, but not present in the core losses. So that's why another disadvantage is, so which is only applicable for small rating of machines. Another one is, so this type of or large rating of machines we can't be applicable for high amount of load is not applicable on the motors. So that's why brake test is only applicable on small rating of machines. So this is the very important. So testing of DC machines is to be considered for direct testing, direct method, indirect and regenerative. So in this brake test, so we are always using voltmeter and ammeter across the input terminals. So corresponding armature as well as field current is to be controlled by another current which is equal to A1 or ISH. So the shaft of the armature is to be directly coupled to the pulley. So air cooling pulley. So these two terminals are belted cable is to be directly connected to two spring balances. So based on this we can find out the torque equation. Power output is equal to T into omega, F into R into omega. So force is always calculated in terms of S1. So S1 is equal to S1 in terms of kg weight. So which is to multiplied with acceleration due to gravity in terms of newtons. So torque is equal to Newton meters. Torque in terms of Newton meters. So this is the brake test. So second one is indirect method. So which is Swinburne test. So in this, so which is also called as a no load test. So without applying load on the motor, so we can find out the efficiency of a motor. So that means this test is to be applicable for either small rating of machines or large rating of machines, or any type of machines is to be applicable for the testing of a machine by using Swinburne test or no load test. So in this, so we are only considered for the single value is to be taken from the circuit diagram. Based on that value is to be simplified for the either efficiency of a motor as well as generator is to be calculated. So by using this test. So first of all we can draw the circuit diagram of a DC motor. So which is equal to input voltage and current, which is to be directly connected to the 3-point starter LAF. So which is equal to line, armature, field. So armature is to be directly connected to armature of a DC motor. So field is also controlled by using ammeter A1, A2. So which is to be controlled by the field rheostat. So which is to be denoted by F1 and F2, A1 and A2. So these two are the armature terminals. But in this, ammeter is to be denoted by A1, which is always measured by a I0. So which is A2 is always measured by a ISH. So corresponding voltage, input voltage is always measured by voltmeter, by using voltmeter. So in this, without applying load, so that means in case of a direct loading method, the shaft of the armature is to be directly connected to the pulley with respect to the spring balances. So but in case of motor is to be operates on no load condition. So this type of test is only applicable to measures the iron loss in a machine is to be calculated. Okay, so iron loss is to always measured by using Swinburne test. So in this, so whenever the voltage and current is to be directly applied to the motor, so by varying of field rheostat, so rated amount of flux is to be developed by the field winding. Corresponding speed is to be reached to rated speed, which is equal to 1500 RPM. At that instant, so we are note down the three values. So one is the no load voltage V0. Second one is, so which is to be measured by a voltmeter. Another one is A1 is equal to I0 value. So another ammeter is A2 is equal to ISH. So based on these three values only, we can find out the efficiency of a motor. So in this, so let us assume, so input voltage is always equal to 220 volts. Second one is no load current. So without applying load on the motor, corresponding current is to be drawn from the supply. Which is equal to, let us assume, 2 amperes. So field current ISH is equal to 0.5 amperes. So these are the assumption values. So input voltage is equal to 220. So no load current drawn from the supply is equal to 2 amperes. 0.5 is the shunt field current. So in this, so we can find out the efficiency of a motor. Efficiency is equal to output divided by input. So in these measurements, so all of you know the input voltage and currents. So motor input is equal to V0 into I0. No load voltage is to multiplied with no load current. So which is equal to 220 into I0 is equal to 2 amperes is equal to 440 watts. So this is the motor input. So how to calculate the motor output? So output is equal to motor output. So motor output is equal to input minus losses. Total losses. Last class also we are discussing about the losses in a motor. So losses are broadly classified into two types. So one is the constant losses, second one is variable losses. Constant losses are classified into two types. So one is the mechanical loss and iron or core losses. So another one is the copper losses. Okay. So in this, so iron loss are also classified into two types. So one is the friction and windage losses. Mechanical loss are also classified into two types. So one is friction and windage losses. So these are the total types of losses. So in this, motor input is equal to V0 into I0, which is equal to 440 watts. So this much amount of power is to be utilized, or this much amount of power is to be drawn from the supply. So which is always is equal to total losses, which is always is equal to total losses. So in this, total losses is equal to 440 watts, 440 watts, because of load is equal to 0, load is equal to 0. So load 0 means, so whatever the power is to be drawn from the supply, so that is product of voltage into current, so which is always is equal to total losses are existing in a machine or motor, so which is equal to 440. So total losses is summation of, or total losses is equal to WC, so that is equal to constant losses, plus WCU, copper losses, constant losses plus variable losses. Constant losses is denoted by WC, copper losses is equal to, or variable losses is to be denoted by WCU. So WCU, or total losses, is equal to 440. So we can find out the WC is equal to total losses minus WCU. So first of all we can find out the WCU. WCU is equal to IA square into RA. IA square into RA. So in this, so how to find out the armature current? So by using this equation, so IA is equal to I naught minus ISH whole square, or armature current is equal to I naught minus ISH. So because of this equation is to be comes from the another equation, that is shunt motor, which is equal to armature across the field winding, so which is equal to supply voltage, so that is the IL, line current, armature current, ISH. So applying KCL in this loop, incoming currents is equal to outgoing currents, so which is equal to IL is equal to IA plus ISH. So from this equation, so we can written as IA is equal to IL, line current is to be denoted by I naught, so that's why I naught minus ISH. So then WCU is equal to IA square into RA, so which is equal to IA is equal to I naught minus ISH whole square into RA. So then WC is equal to WC, constant losses, which is equal to constant losses is equal to total losses, which is equal to V naught into I naught minus ISH whole square into RA. So this is the expression of constant values. So based on this equation, so we can find out the efficiency. So because of, so we know the total losses as well as input. So motor efficiency is equal to net IM is equal to power output divided by power input. So power output is equal to input minus losses divided by input. So input is equal to V naught into I naught minus losses is equal to two types of losses. So one is the constant losses plus copper losses, so which is equal to constant losses or input minus total losses is equal to V naught I naught minus ISH whole square into RA. So divided by input V naught into I naught into 100%. So based on these equations, we can find out the efficiency of a motor. So which is also added with minus WC, constant losses. So total losses minus iron losses minus constant, copper losses minus constant losses divided by V naught into I naught. So based on these equations, we can find out the efficiency of a motor. So in this, so which is always having some advantages and disadvantages. So the advantages of swim on test is, so without applying load on the motor, we can easily find out the efficiency of a motor. So similarly, so we can find out the efficiency of a generator. So by using swim on test. So in case of a generator, this circuit diagram is to be simplified into another fashion. So which is equal to field winding, armature is to be connected across the load. So which is equal to load current. Armature current is always given to the ISH. But in this, armature current is to be changed to another equation. IA is always is equal to IL plus ISH. So which is to be applicable to the swim on test. IA is equal to, IL is the line current, I naught plus ISH. So this is the difference between motor and generator. In case of a motor, IA is equal to I naught minus ISH. But in case of a generator, IA is equal to I naught plus ISH. So similarly, so efficiency of a generator is equal to power output divided by power input. Power input is equal to input minus losses. So V naught I naught minus, so this expression is to be changed to I naught plus ISH. I naught plus ISH whole square minus RA minus WC divided by V naught into I naught. So if it is possible, so this machine is to be acts as a generator. So these expressions are to be changed from the armature current IA is equal to IL plus ISH. IA is equal to addition of load current plus shunt field current. But in case of a motor, armature current is always is equal to I naught minus ISH. So these are the measurement of efficiency of a motor as well as generator by using swim on test or no load test. So which is having some advantages and disadvantages. Advantages are, so without applying load on the motor, so we can easily find out the efficiency of a motor as well as generator. So that is the one thing. Another one is, so if it is possible, after calculation of iron losses, so whenever the load is to be applied on the motor, so in that condition is also, so we are assuming the measurement of copper losses, so which is to be added with the constant losses, finally when we get the efficiency of a generator as well as motor. So those values are not getting the accurate. So that is the major disadvantage of swim on test. So because of this is the indirect method, without applying load on the motor, we can measure the efficiency of a generator as well as motor. But in under loaded condition, the temperature is not considered in swim on test. So that is the first drawbacks. First disadvantages, temperature is not considered. Second one is, so in this measurement, swim on test is only measures the iron losses. But in case of a copper losses are neglected during the operation. But in case of a copper losses are also existing. Copper losses are also existing in machine. So third disadvantage is, so during the full load condition or during the loaded condition, armature reaction as well as commutation. So armature reaction as well as commutation, and commutation is not considered. So based on these disadvantages are applicable in swim on test. But advantages are, without applying load on the machine, which is to be easily measures the efficiency. so which is to be applicable for either small rating of machines as well as large rating of machines. But in practical condition, during the running condition or full load condition, temperature is not considered. Copper losses are also not considered in no load condition. Another one is armature reaction as well as commutation. So another one is, fourth one is the brush. So friction losses. Friction losses is also not considered. Not consideration in measurement of efficiency of a DC motor as well as generator. So these are the direct method and indirect method. So based on these two methods, so we are solving the more number of problems on next class. Thank you.